Things start off as they do in canon, with Sir Pentious arriving in heaven unexpectedly. Emily, the youngest Seraph, is overjoyed at the sight of him, believing that Charlie's redemption plan has truly succeeded. However, her older sister, Sera, is far less enthusiastic. Sera views Pentious's arrival as a potential threat. If word got out that a sinner had entered heaven, it could destabilize the balance of their realm. Fearing this revelation could cause widespread panic or worse, a loss of faith among the souls in heaven, Sera arranges for Pentious to be hidden away until she can figure out how to deal with the situation. Emily, though overjoyed to see Pentious, struggles with her growing distrust of Sera. Ever since her meeting with Charlie, learning that Sera had allowed Adam and his exorcists to carry out brutal exterminations of former human souls in hell, her faith in her sister has wavered. It horrifies Emily that souls who once lived as humans were being slaughtered under the guise of protecting heaven. Unable to reconcile this truth with heaven's image as a place of divine justice and mercy, Emily decides to take matters into her own hands. Against Sera's explicit orders, she allows Pentious to explore heaven and visit the pavilion, the serene heart of their realm. Pentious, still adjusting to his new surroundings, is awestruck by the beauty and tranquility of heaven. However, as he watches the angelic winners, he feels out of place until he notices a lone figure sitting off by herself, a female spider-themed winner. Something about her stirs a strange familiarity in him. His instincts tell him that he must approach her, so he does. The angelic spider, Molly, is initially guarded. She's not used to strangers approaching her in the pavilion, especially those who seem out of place. But as they talk, Molly begins to lower her guard. Pentious admits that he's new to heaven, surprising Molly, who points out how his mannerisms and speech seem to belong to another time period, specifically the early 1900s. Pentious chuckles softly, correcting her by saying that he's actually from the late 1800s, though she wasn't far off in her assumption. He goes on to explain that he had been in hell before arriving in heaven, a place where he met someone who she reminded him of, a demon spider named Angel Dust. Molly doesn't recognize the name Angel Dust but shares her own story. She had two brothers who never made it to heaven. Her older brother was not a good person, shaped by their father's expectations. Her twin brother, Anthony, on the other hand, had always been kind-hearted, even if he had a rough exterior. He protected her and others when they were children, and despite his occasional mean streak, he was nothing like their elder brother. As the days pass, Molly and Pentious meet again and again, growing more comfortable in each other's company. They share stories of their pasts, with Pentious explaining more about his time in hell and the hotel Charlie had founded. Eventually, Molly realizes that the details Pentious shares about Angel Dust, such as his personality and actions, remind her more and more of her twin brother, Anthony. She starts to wonder if Angel Dust could indeed be her long-lost sibling. Pentious admits he can't be sure. Angel never spoke of having a sister or any siblings, but that didn't mean it wasn't possible. Demons in hell often avoided discussing their past lives, either out of shame or a desire to leave those memories behind. Curious about Pentious's journey, Molly eventually asks how he managed to get into heaven from hell. She finds it strange that aside from Princess Morningstar's visit to heaven, there's been no talk of hell in their realm. It's practically a taboo subject. Pentious hesitates before answering. The last time I was with my companions, he begins, his voice tinged with sadness, we were standing together in a battle against Adam and his exorcist forces. Every year, heaven launched attacks on hell, brutally slaughtering any sinners they came across under the pretext of reducing hell's population. Molly listens, horrified. Princess Charlie, yes, Lucifer's daughter, had repurposed an old hotel in an effort to stop these exterminations. Her plan was to help former human sinners, like myself, redeem ourselves and become worthy of heaven. Angel Dust was the first to join, though at the time, I don't think he believed in redemption. I don't even think his intentions were purely selfish either, but like myself he was a soul who did desire something better in our existence. As for me, I joined the hotel a week after one of the exterminations, but not for the most noble reasons. Pentious goes on to explain how he had been recruited by a group of vile demons to infiltrate the hotel for his own gain. It was Angel Dust who first suspected him and eventually exposed his motives. At the time, I believed this group would accept me, Pentious admits. But later, I realized I had been nothing more than a pawn. Charlie, in her infinite patience, forgave me, and I stayed at the hotel, learning that there was a different path to take. Angel was slower to accept me, as were the hotel staff, but in time, we became a sort of makeshift family. Molly is taken aback by this. She had no idea that heaven had been launching attacks on hell. It feels hypocritical to her, knowing that heaven was tearing apart families that had already been broken by circumstance. How could heaven justify such a thing, she asks, incredulously. There are sinners in hell who are pure evil, yes, but there are others. Souls who have loved ones here in heaven. How could they destroy them so casually? Pentious explains that according to a former exorcist who resided at the hotel, the exterminations were a secret, known only to Adam, his exorcists, and the head seraphim. Emily, though compassionate, had been breaking the head seraphim's rules by allowing him to see heaven and interact with others. Meanwhile, Emily struggles with the decision to contact Charlie. She wants to tell her that Pentious has made it to heaven, that redemption is possible, and that all their efforts weren't in vain. But she knows Sera would never allow it. One day, while passing the Seraphim's chambers, Emily overhears a conversation between Sera and Lute, Adam's most loyal follower. Lute, now unhinged by Adam's death, demands to go to hell and avenge him by slaughtering everyone in the hotel. Sera, ever the strategist, advises patience. It would be better to let hell believe they had one, while heaven regrouped and prepared for a new means of purification. Horrified, Emily realizes that if Lute discovered Pentious in heaven, she would kill him on sight. She rushes to find him and warn him of the danger. She finds him with Molly and, without hesitation, explains that Adam is dead, but Lute is out for blood. For his safety, Pentious must return to hell. Molly, hearing this, begs to go with him, desperate to reunite with her brother, Anthony, whom she now believes is angel dust. Emily hesitates. No soul in heaven has ever requested to leave. Molly explains that while heaven is peaceful, it will never be heaven for her if her brother, her other half, is not there with her. Pentious, agreeing, adds that if angel dust is indeed her brother, Molly deserves the chance to reunite with him. Emily, moved by their determination, agrees, though she warns Molly that once she leaves heaven, there's no guarantee she can return. As Emily prepares to create a portal to hell, Lute arrives, filled with rage. She accuses Emily of betraying heaven by harboring a sinner. A fierce argument erupts, with Emily passionately defending her actions. How can heaven claim moral superiority when we're tearing apart souls who have families, who have loved ones here in heaven, she demands. Lute, however, is unrelenting, insisting that the souls in hell are too tainted for redemption. Before she can attack, Sera arrives, stopping Lute from causing more damage. However, Sera is equally displeased with Emily's actions, declaring that Emily is now fallen and Molly is now a tainted soul for interacting with a sinner. With a wave of her hand, she banishes all three of them to hell. The three find themselves in Pentagram City. Pentious, back in his demon form, quickly adjusts, while Molly notices changes in herself. Her wings and halo are gone, the deep red parts of her dress are now black. Emily, now in a fallen form, tries to maintain her composure despite her new demonic features. They decide to head straight for the hotel, knowing that Charlie and the others need to be warned about what heaven has planned. As they walk through the city, Molly gasps when she sees a poster of angel dust in a seductive pose. Pentious, sheepishly, admits he forgot to mention that Angel is a porn star in hell. Molly, though shocked, says, "That's Anthony, I know it." As they pass more posters and merchandise featuring angel dust, Molly becomes increasingly distressed, wondering what her brother has become. Pentious and Emily reassure her, reminding her that despite what he has resorted to doing in order to survive, he is still the good-hearted person she remembered him as being. When they reach the hotel, Charlie, who has been grieving Pentious's death, is reluctant to open the door. She assumes it's another reporter wanting an interview about Adam's defeat. But when the knocking persists, she opens it and immediately breaks down in joy when she sees Pentious standing there. Throwing her arms around him, she shouts with glee, "Pentious! You're here!" The rest of the hotel mates are equally stunned by his return. As everyone gathers to welcome back the companion they thought had been destroyed, Angel Dust's attention is drawn to Molly, and the two spider demons share a tearful reunion. "Fratello," Molly whispers, her voice choked with emotion. "It's really you. After all these years. There ain't been a day I didn't think about ya, Mols," Angel replies, hugging her tightly. As the reunion continues, Emily explains the circumstances of their arrival. Charlie, though saddened to hear that Emily is now fallen, welcomes them all to the hotel, pleased to have them as part of their family, no matter the difficult path that led them there.